Hi, welcome back to Morning Qi Gong with the Levy Tai Chi School and myself, Lao Shi Paul Nettles. It is July the 3rd, Friday. Happy Friday if you're back at work. It is going to be an interesting morning, looks like. I think we have some more threat of weather. That's all right. We're outside right now. There's no rain just yet. And something has happened I did not think to even take into account or much less mention, but that is, especially for those of us in Louisiana, we have been seeing the effects of the Saharan dust these past week or so, I would think, if not longer. Very obviously, if you have been out in the mornings or in the evenings and had a opportunity to see a long view down a road or across a field, you can very clearly see a haze in the air. And those of us who have any kind of sinus issues, even the mild ones, are probably having a little consternation over the dust. So that being said, of course, I'm hoping you saw this long before I did and took steps to prevent or protect yourself. But if you do suffer from sinus issues, if you have allergies, if dust bothers you, if you're just getting stuffed up from the quantity of dust in the air, between that and myself here with the farms, it's a double shot. Wear your mask, be safe, do this inside. You know that I'm a big proponent of doing the form outside, but nothing saying you have to. There's no grounding that says you're required to be outside, especially when it's not the best thing for you. So take care of yourself. Be aware, unlike myself, of your environmental conditions out there. Alright, so in past, as we have done the Qi Gong form, the Baduan Jin, the Eight Silken Changes, I have made effort to point out variations in the form that you can implement if you care to. Most notably right now, I think we've taught 3 different draw bow shoot tiger postures. There's 2 different marry heavens and earth, separate heavens and earth postures. Of course, there's 2 for lion wags tail, and I'm sure there are variations out there I just haven't come across yet, or have discarded as being so minimal as to not be worth mentioning. If you have done any research at all, if you've done any searching on YouTube or on the web for the 8 Silken Changes, I'm sure you've seen a number of those variations out there. And we try to implement those as I try to implement them as a teacher, simply as an option for you. I'm not trying to say there is one right or wrong. I know what I was trained initially in, and I have taken my own path from there. So if you have a desire to pursue a different type of movement, as long as you're attaining the core principles, the breathing, relaxation, the calm mind, knock yourself out. The reason I say all this is that we were going to do the swimming dragon this morning, swimming dragon Qi Gong, and I have realized that now I wasn't taught this one directly. This one I picked up from YouTube and practiced myself and attained a certain level of understanding. There are, in fact, at least 2 variations of the swimming dragon. Oh, that's hard for me to say. There are at least 2 variations that I have found now, and I had a small moment of cognitive dissonance because I couldn't figure out why one looked so differently, and it didn't occur to me, of course, that there might be variations on the form. So there are 2 variations. I have taught one which has a more relaxed hand posture. There is another one which is very, very similar, and I am certain, as the same case in the variations on the Eight Silken Changes, that the postural variations don't make any actual change in the internal aspects, and the internal rewards, and the internal gains that you're getting from the form. I think the hand postures simply give you something else to do with your hands. In this case, the only thing I can see different between the one I first learned and this one is that the initial hand movement just pulls you very, very slightly out of your center of mass, off your center of balance, and you have to correct for it. But it's such an infinitesimal difference, I don't see that it could change anything. But this morning we might try that one, just to give you an option, to give you something to chew on if you care to. The swimming dragon also, to my understanding, does not have a specific breathing pattern. You'll find some of the Qi Gong simply say, breathe in a relaxed manner. I am not enough of a scholar to be able to delve into that deeply and say that's right or wrong, or to have a deeply informed opinion on that, but I am of the opinion that the rhythmic breathing is a big part of Qigong and Tai Chi, and is important to that mindfulness practice. Qigong without breathing, I think, would still be very good for flexibility, for strength, for calm, but that breathing is a very important layer. That's like the icing on the cake. You could have cake without it, but it's just boring. So I have always tried to implement my own Qigong style breathing pattern over the other Qigongs that don't seem to have any sort of specific breath work to them, or no one's letting us know what that is, which is sometimes a difficulty with Chinese culture and education. It's not meant to be shared, even after all this time, with Westerners. So I'm going to implement a breathing pattern I think is appropriate and which matches my Tai Chi and Qigong training, and we will proceed from there. So, swimming dragon, of course, like most of our Qigongs, is performed from a shoulder width stance, hands comfortable. Now, this second style I noticed began with a sort of a mudra, if you've learned any kind of Buddhism, a hand posture indicating a certain education or a certain lesson, resting over the dantian, the center of the body where your Qi resides. That's about 3 fingers below your navel. So it's simply a triangle shape with the hands. I don't see that's necessary, particularly unless there's a salute, unless you believe in energy flow, in which case, by all means, hands resting, thumbs touching lightly, fingers touching lightly, resting over the dantian. So, we're going to breathe in, bring the hands together, come up just in front of the face, lungs full. We're going to turn our hand almost flat, our hand sandwich here, and come to our left while our hips move to the right. Begin breathing out. And come across about sternum height. And then low by the dantian. And back to center. The lungs should be empty, relaxed. Again, come up. We do want to come out a little bit off the body on this one, this very first one. And then you return to a very close body posture for the remainders. And I'm certain just easily you can begin to your right. I did read something interesting that said that all Qi Gong has begun to the left. I could not find any supporting evidence as to why all Qi Gong has begun to the left. And being right-handed, I tend to be a right-handed Tai Chi and Qi Gong person, but I see no reason you couldn't turn, come out to your right, and then left, and then right. And by the same token, I see no difficulty in mixing in the first swimming dragon Qigong movements into this one, where there were 4 movements. If you recall, they were performed at forehead height, shoulders, sternum, and dantian, and then we sank and came up. So let's try mixing that in just a little bit. So, let's start from our center, our dantian. So, we're going to breathe in, forward, out, nice and slow. Sink. Breathe in. And then of course you could drop down and go to the right if you cared to. Breathing out. The tip of the fingers drops very slowly as you descend down your body's points there to your center, down, and you could come to rest back at your dantian. Another simple tool to put in your toolbox. A little more complicated, a little more along the lines of the Golden Rooster stands on one leg Tai Chi posture in terms of complexity. I do like that one because you do get, if you do the initial teaching, the sinking down, you get a little more leg workout, a little more strengthening. I do like the big expressive movement of it. That is interesting and kind of relaxing and fun to get a nice big movement side to side. A little more active, but again, you saw you can do it standing in one place, feet planted, foot of your bed, behind your desk, in your broom closet, in the parking garage by your car when you first get to work, wherever you care to. As long as you, like I say, perform paying attention to the core principles of Qigong, including your breathing, nice and slow. And if you don't tie your breathing, that's quite a long breath out. That's more of a Tai Chi breath out. But as long as you breathe in a rhythmic fashion, I could say you would even might be able to say, breathe in, out, out, and then sink with lungs empty, then breathe in and breathe out, however you care to do it. Like I say, Qigong has always given us a little more flexibility, a little more leeway in how we want to perform the system. Again, as long as you are relaxed, breathing calmly and rhythmically, and are vertical without being drawn up tight, all the things we've learned so far in Qigong. One more thing you can try, though, just a little thing, a little extra. If you find yourself getting a little tired of the same old, not everything is the same for everybody. Not everyone enjoys the exact same thing all the time. So one more thing you can throw into the mix for your practice. So let's go ahead and begin. Let's see. Oh, I should have announced earlier. I didn't even think about announcing. I will be at the levee tomorrow, or in front of the museum. Probably in front of the museum, I would think. Less beating down the sun at 10:30 in the morning in front of the museum. So if you do want to attend the Qi Gong class Saturday morning, the live feed, I will be there. We won't be inside, so dress accordingly. But I will be there at 10:30 if you care to join me. Please do wear a mask, and we'll have a little class out there, just ourselves in front of the museum somewhere in the parking lot, probably. All right, let's go begin the form. First sow. Lifting the heavens. Breathe out. Gazes backwards. Breathe out. Apologies for the telephone noise. I forgot to put on the Do Not Disturb. Sorry about that. Draw bow, shoot tiger. Breathe out. Stars fall to earth. heavens and earth and separate heavens and earth. Its own throne. and stamp the earth. One more. Must be working, huh? There we are. I hope you were lucky enough to see the same sorts of obvious physical responses to your efforts. Not only the increase in strength, the increase in lung capacity, decrease in your respiration and heart rate, but the obvious things, the things that say, hey, you know, you're actually settling down. Good for you. I hope you're seeing those. Those are nice physical reminders that we're doing good for ourselves. It can be hard to see sometimes when all we do is 30 minutes of movement and you think, well, what have I really accomplished? It's happening. I assure you it's happening. It's small changes, but they are functional changes and they are taking place, and you should be proud of yourself for sticking with it. It takes gumption to stick with it, especially in a world that tells you that, I should say in a country that tells you that unless you are sweating and trembling and dehydrated and sore the next morning, you didn't do anything. That can be a hard thing to shake. Trust me, you're doing good. All right, tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, we'll have a live broadcast from the museum parking lot in the shade somewhere. If you want to join me, you're certainly welcome. As long as you please wear a mask, we'll do a little form out there together, and I will of course broadcast it, and we will continue from there. Since I just became aware of it, please be aware of the Saharan dust. If you have breathing troubles and you haven't realized it yet, grab your mask. All the more reason to wear a mask. Pull the dust out of the air. I wish I had realized it a week ago and actually thought about its impact on me. Live and learn. All right. As always, continue to be safe. Numbers keep rising, and I don't see Louisianians leaping to any kind of intelligent decisions regarding masking and isolation. So please be safe. Remain well. I will see you tomorrow morning.